Have you ever realized that one tiny moment can show how fast time catches up with us? What if the thing you love most, dancing with your granddaughter, walking your dog, or simply getting out of your chair, suddenly feels harder than it used to? And what if I told you that the secret to turning it all around might already be right inside your own home? Hi, I'm Dr. Nana, and welcome to Senior Health Boost. Imagine this. You're at your granddaughter's birthday party. The room is filled with laughter, balloons, and the sweet smell of cake. She rushes over, grabs your hand, and says, "Grandpa, come dance with me." You smile, but when you try to stand, your legs feel heavy. Your balance wavers. Instead of joining her, you stay seated, forcing a grin while your heart quietly sinks. That moment, missing out because your legs couldn't keep up, can hurt deeper than any ache or stiffness. These moments happen far too often. Weak legs don't just make moving harder, they quietly steal pieces of joy, independence, and connection. But here's what most people don't realize. Rebuilding your strength doesn't require hours at the gym or expensive machines. With just 7 simple moves done right at home, you can rebuild muscle, protect your balance, and step confidently into the moments that truly matter. So let me ask you, have you ever skipped doing something you love because your legs felt too weak? Comment 1 if you're determined to stay strong, or oh if you've already felt those limits creeping in. I'll read and reply to every single comment, because your story matters. Before we get started, make sure you subscribe to Senior Health Boost. What you'll learn here could mean the difference between sitting on the sidelines and standing tall in life's most precious moments. Let's begin with the first powerful move. The simple act of sitting down and standing back up, something we all take for granted, becomes a real challenge when leg strength fades. Scientists call this the sit-to-stand test, and it's one of the strongest predictors of independence in older adults. According to the National Institute on Aging, difficulty rising from a chair is linked to higher fall risk and even early nursing home placement. The reason is clear. This single movement activates your quadriceps, glutes, and core, the muscles that keep you steady and upright. When these muscles weaken, everyday tasks, getting out of bed, using the bathroom, standing from the dinner table, become harder and riskier. Let me share a story. Harold, 76, a retired mechanic, came to me frustrated. He could still drive and enjoy Sunday barbecues, but standing up from his recliner had turned into a battle. Push with his arms, rock forward, and hope his legs would catch him. He laughed nervously. "Doc, I think my chair's winning." We started him on chair squats. No weights, no machines, just slow, steady practice from his living room chair. Within 6 weeks, Harold told me something that made us both smile. He could rise without grabbing the armrests. "It feels like I got my legs back," he said. Here's how you can try it at home. Choose a sturdy chair. Place your feet flat on the ground. Cross your arms over your chest. Lower yourself slowly until seated, then stand back up using only your legs. Start with 5 repetitions and build up to 10. If that feels tough, keep your hands lightly on your thighs for support at first. This simple daily habit doesn't just strengthen your legs, it rebuilds your confidence. Because every time you stand, you're not just rising from a chair, you're standing up for your independence. And here's the surprising part. True leg strength isn't only about your thighs or hips. Sometimes the smallest muscles, the ones you rarely think about, can make the biggest difference in keeping you safe and steady on your feet. When you picture strong legs, most people imagine quads and glutes. But your calves, the gastrocnemius and soleus, are just as vital. These small but powerful muscles push you forward with each step, pump blood back toward your heart, and stabilize you when you stand still. Research in the Journal of Gerontology shows that calf weakness directly contributes to slower walking speed and a higher risk of falls. In fact, weak calves can make you feel unsteady even when you're standing still. Let me introduce you to Martha, 72, a retired librarian who loved gardening. Recently, she noticed her ankles wobbling, especially when reaching for a book on the top shelf or walking across uneven ground. Before we move on, remember Martha, the retired librarian who felt her ankles trembling every time she reached for a book or stepped onto uneven ground. Her story reminds us that even the smallest muscles can hold up our biggest moments. When she first came to me, Martha said softly, "It feels like my feet are betraying me." That single sentence carried a weight of frustration and fear. She loved tending her flowers, kneeling beside her marigolds, feeling the earth in her hands, but each time she stood, her balance wavered. So, we started with something incredibly simple yet powerful: heel raises. I had her stand behind a sturdy chair, resting her fingertips lightly on the backrest for balance. Then she gently lifted her heels until she stood on her toes, held the position for a moment and lowered back down with control. At first, it felt odd, even shaky. But within 4 short weeks, she returned to me with a bright smile and said, "Dr. Nana, I feel steadier. I even went back to my garden without worrying about falling." She laughed. "It's amazing how something so simple could give me back my confidence." You can try this too, right where you are. Stand behind a stable chair, hands resting gently for support. Slowly lift your heels until you're standing tall on your toes like you're trying to peek over a fence, then pause for 2 seconds and lower back down. Start with 10 repetitions. As your strength builds, increase to 15 or even 20. Feeling brave? Try raising 1 foot at a time. You'll notice quickly that the challenge is as much about balance as it is about strength. What makes this exercise so special isn't just stronger calves, it's the flow it creates throughout your body. It helps pump blood back toward your heart, steadies your posture, and can even prevent that sudden dizzy spell when you stand up too quickly. And just wait, because in the next movement, when you combine that calf strength with the natural action of climbing, you'll unlock a whole new level of power and stability that mirrors one of life's most essential daily challenges. Every day, whether you're stepping up onto the porch, boarding a bus, or simply crossing a curb, you're performing one of the most functional moves your body knows, the step up. It may look ordinary, but don't underestimate it. The step up works nearly every major muscle in your lower body, your quadriceps in the front of your thighs, hamstrings in the back, glutes in your hips, and the stabilizing muscles around your ankles that keep you upright. A study published in the American Journal of Preventive Medicine found that older adults who practiced step-ups regularly improved walking speed and reduced their risk of falls by nearly 30%. Why? Because this single motion trains both strength and coordination in a way that perfectly imitates real life. Here's how to do it safely at home. Find a low, sturdy step or a secure platform, no higher than about 8 inches. Place 1 foot firmly on top, press through your heel, and lift your body until both feet meet together on the platform. Step down slowly and repeat with the other leg. Begin with 10 repetitions, alternating legs, and increase as you grow stronger. If you ever feel unsteady, don't hesitate to use a railing or the back of a heavy chair for balance. The beauty of this move lies in its practicality. It directly prepares you for movements you can't avoid in daily life. Each repetition makes climbing stairs feel easier, more fluid, and far less tiring. Before long, what once felt like a struggle starts to feel natural again. Have you ever paused at the bottom of a staircase, just to make sure your legs were ready? That small hesitation, that brief uncertainty can fade away with consistent practice. Step-ups not only build leg power, they also boost endurance in your heart and lungs, giving you more energy for the moments that matter most. Many older adults I've worked with say that after just a few weeks of doing step-ups, they no longer gasp for air after a flight of stairs. They notice they can stroll through the grocery store, visit friends, or wander the park without that heavy fatigue setting in. That renewed strength doesn't just rebuild the body, it restores freedom. So, before you give it a try, let me ask, when you climb stairs, do you feel confident? Or do you sometimes grip the rail just a little tighter than before? Comment 1 if you feel steady, or 0 if you've noticed a bit of weakness. I read every response personally, because these small victories matter. And if you found these tips useful, don't forget to subscribe to Senior Health Boost so you never miss the next move that could completely change the way you walk through life. Now, let's slow things down for a moment, because sometimes, the simplest motions bring the greatest results. Sitting comfortably on a chair and extending your legs forward may not look impressive, but it directly targets one of the most important muscle groups in your body, your quadriceps, the large muscles in the front of your thighs. Think of your quads as built-in shock absorbers for your knees. When they're strong, they cushion every step. But when they weaken, the knees take the hit, leading to stiffness, discomfort, and a loss of confidence in every stride. Research from the Arthritis Foundation shows that strengthening the quadriceps can significantly reduce knee pain and improve stability, especially for older adults dealing with arthritis. Weak quads make it harder not only to stand or climb stairs, but even to rise from a low seat without wincing. Over time, this weakness adds pressure to the knee joints, wearing them down and making each movement a little more difficult than the last. Let me tell you about James, a 75-year-old retired carpenter. For most of his life, James built things with his hands, furniture, decks, and memories. But when I met him, he sighed and said, "Dr. Nana, I miss taking evening walks with my wife. My knees start aching after just a few steps." He wasn't complaining. He was mourning the small pleasures that pain had taken away. That's when we began focusing on seated leg extensions, gentle, controlled motions that brought life back to his thighs and relief to his joints. And this is exactly where we'll pick up in the next section: how James regained his strength, the steps you can follow at home, and the hidden key to knee stability that most people overlook. When we left off, I told you about James, the retired carpenter whose knees ached so much he could barely enjoy evening walks with his wife. He feared it was simply old age. But as we tested his strength, we discovered the truth: his quadriceps were far weaker than expected. So, we began with one of the simplest yet most effective movements, the seated leg extension. At first, James could hardly straighten his legs all the way. Each repetition felt heavy, like his knees were fighting against time itself. But he didn't give up. Every morning, while sipping his coffee, he practiced faithfully: lift, hold, lower, rest. Slowly, his legs remembered what they were capable of. After about 2 months, something wonderful happened. One evening, James smiled and said, "Dr. Nana, I kept up with my wife for the first time in years." The joy on his face said it all, proof that small, steady effort creates powerful change. You can practice this right now. Sit tall in a sturdy chair, feet flat on the floor. Slowly lift one leg until it's straight out in front of you. Hold for 3 seconds, then lower it gently. Switch to the other side and repeat. Begin with 5 reps per leg, increasing gradually as you get stronger. Remember, it's not about speed, it's about control. Each slow movement fully engages your thigh muscles and protects your knees. This simple habit not only strengthens the quads, but also rebuilds your confidence, the quiet assurance that you can rise, walk, and climb without hesitation. And just wait, because next, you'll discover how strengthening your hips can completely transform your balance with every single step you take. When you walk, climb stairs, or stand on one foot to slip on a shoe, your hip and outer thigh muscles work silently to keep you stable. These unsung heroes, especially the gluteus medius, are often overlooked, yet they're essential for balance and fall prevention. Studies from the Journal of Orthopedic and Sports Physical Therapy show that weakness in these muscles is strongly linked to unsteady gait and hip pain in older adults. Strengthening them improves not only side-to-side stability, but also overall confidence when you move. Let me tell you about Anna, 71, a former school nurse who came to me deeply worried about her frequent stumbles. "It feels like my legs want to cross over each other when I walk," she explained. That strange motion, almost like her body had forgotten how to walk straight, was her hips asking for help. After a quick assessment, we confirmed her side hip muscles were weak, especially on the left. So we started side leg raises, standing tall behind a sturdy chair, lifting one leg outward, holding for a moment, then lowering it slowly. At first, she could barely raise her leg a few inches, her voice trembling with frustration. But Anna practiced every day, 1 minute here, 1 minute there. 6 weeks later, she walked into my office, beaming. "Dr. Nana, I walked across the church parking lot without that anxious wobble." Her relief was pure and honest. "I feel safer in my own body," she said. You can begin just like Anna. Stand tall behind a steady chair, hands resting lightly for support. Keep your torso straight. Lift one leg out to the side, no leaning forward or backward. Hold for 2 seconds, then lower it slowly. Repeat 10 times per leg. As you grow stronger, try doing it without holding the chair. Side leg raises may look simple, but they build hidden strength, the kind that protects you during the unexpected moments, tripping on a rug, missing a step, or stepping off a curb. And what comes next might surprise you, because even a movement as tiny as tapping your toes can spark new life in your legs and circulation. It may look like nothing, just sitting and moving your toes, but toe taps do wonders for blood flow and nerve health. When you repeatedly lift and lower your toes, you activate the muscles in your shins and feet, which act like mini pumps, pushing blood upward toward your heart. That pumping motion reduces swelling and relieves that heavy, tingling feeling so many older adults notice at the end of the day. Research from the American Heart Association shows that regular foot and ankle exercises can boost circulation by more than 20%, a huge benefit for anyone managing diabetes or peripheral artery disease. Take Robert, 73, a retired postman who once spent decades walking long routes. After retirement, The miles disappeared and so did his movement. He sat more, walked less, and soon felt a strange numbness creeping into his legs. Each evening, I thought something serious was happening, he told me. We started with gentle toe taps, lifting the front of one foot while keeping the heel down, alternating left and right, as if keeping time to a quiet rhythm. Within a month, Robert noticed a difference. The tingling eased, his legs felt lighter, and one day he said, "It's like my feet woke up again." You can try it right now. Sit with your back straight and feet flat on the floor. Lift the front of one foot so your toes point up. Tap them down, then switch sides. Do this for about 1 minute. Rest, and repeat. It's a simple rhythm, almost musical, yet behind that beat, your muscles and blood vessels are working in harmony to keep you strong and energized. Before moving on, ask yourself, do your legs feel light and full of life, or do you sometimes notice heaviness and tingling by evening? Comment 1 if your legs feel strong, or 0 if you've noticed those warning signs. I read every comment, and each one helps us build this community of strength together. If these tips are helping you, make sure to subscribe to Senior Health Boost, so you won't miss the final movement, the one that ties everything together. Because next, we'll test your balance in a way that might sound easy, but it's one of the most powerful moves you can ever practice. Standing on one leg. It sounds like child's play, doesn't it? But for older adults, this single movement is one of the strongest predictors of long-term stability and independence. Balance isn't just about your legs. It's a full-body skill, a quiet conversation between your muscles, your core, your eyes, and even the tiny stabilizers in your ankles. Research from the British Journal of Sports Medicine revealed that adults over 70 who couldn't stand on one leg for at least 10 seconds had a much higher risk of falls and, astonishingly, even a shorter life expectancy. Balance, it may seem simple, but it's one of the most powerful indicators of strength, independence, and confidence. And that's exactly what this final movement is all about, reclaiming your trust in your body. I think often of Margaret, 78 years old, a retired choir singer who spent decades filling her church with beautiful hymns. But one afternoon, she pulled me aside with a trembling voice and said, "Dr. Nana, I don't feel safe walking up the stage steps anymore. I'm afraid one wrong move will send me tumbling." That fear had stolen something from her, not just her stability, but her joy. She still loved music, still wanted to sing with her friends, but her body no longer felt like her own. So, we started small, very small. On her first day, Margaret stood behind a sturdy chair, both hands gripping the backrest. She lifted one foot, barely an inch off the ground. Her hands shook, her breath trembled, but she didn't quit. Every day, we practiced gently, patiently, with purpose. At first, she could hold the position for only a few seconds. Then one hand lifted, then both. Slowly, her confidence began to grow, not just in her legs, but in her heart. After 3 months, Margaret sent me a picture I'll never forget. She was standing on stage again, microphone in hand, smiling wide. "Dr. Nana," she wrote, "I walked onto that stage without fear for the first time in years. I never thought such a small exercise could give me back my courage." It's stories like hers that remind me balance isn't about standing still. It's about standing strong when life moves around you. You can practice this right now, wherever you are. Stand tall behind a sturdy chair. Place your hands lightly on the backrest for security. Lift one foot off the ground, not too high, just enough to challenge your balance. Keep your chest lifted, your shoulders relaxed, and your eyes focused on a steady point ahead of you. Hold for 10 to 15 seconds, then gently switch sides. Repeat this 3 times per leg. As you gain confidence, try removing one hand. When that feels steady, lift both hands for a few seconds at a time, always making sure there's support nearby, just in case. This quiet little move might look simple, but don't underestimate it. It's teaching your body how to react calmly in unpredictable moments, like reaching for something on a high shelf, turning too quickly, or stepping off a curb that's lower than you expected. Each repetition strengthens the connection between your muscles and your mind. Over time, your body learns to respond with stability instead of panic. And now, you've made it. You've discovered all 7 simple moves that can bring back the strength, balance, and confidence in your legs, no matter your age. You didn't need a gym. You didn't need fancy machines or hours of training. All it takes is a few minutes each day, and the belief that your best days of strength aren't behind you, but still ahead. You see, this isn't just about exercise. It's about reclaiming the freedom to do the things you love, walking your dog without fear of falling, dancing with your grandkids, or climbing those church steps like Margaret did. It's about proving to yourself that growing older doesn't mean giving up power. It means growing wiser, knowing what to focus on, and choosing movement over fear. Let's review what you've accomplished. You learned how chair squats rebuild strength from the ground up, giving your legs the power to rise again with ease. You saw how heel raises wake up the small muscles that keep your balance steady and your circulation flowing. You mastered step-ups, turning everyday actions into strength training for real life. You practiced leg extensions, protecting your knees and regaining endurance. You built stability with side leg raises, confidence with toe taps, and true balance with this final single leg hold. 7 simple moves, 1 powerful transformation. And as Dr. Nana, I want you to know this. It's not about perfection. It's about consistency. Because every time you practice every rise from a chair, every heel lift, every single step, you're not just exercising. You're investing in your independence. You're choosing freedom. You're saying, I'm not done yet. And you're absolutely right, you're not. The more you move, the more your body rewards you. Your blood flows better. Your heart grows stronger. Your mind stays sharper. You start noticing little victories. Walking farther without pain, standing taller, moving easier, smiling more. Those small wins add up day by day into something bigger than fitness. They add up to a life without hesitation. Margaret found her voice again. James rediscovered the joy of walking beside his wife. Anna stopped fearing every step. And Robert, well, his feet woke up again, as he proudly said. Each of them began exactly where you are right now, not in a gym, but at home, taking the first brave step toward feeling strong again. So here's my challenge for you. Pick one of the 7 moves. Just one. Do it today. Then again tomorrow. Let those minutes become habits, and those habits become strength. Because no matter your age, your body still listens. It still learns. It still responds to movement. And when you treat it with care, it rewards you with energy, stability, and the priceless gift of independence. Remember, it's never too late to start. And it's always too early to quit. If this video has inspired you, if even one story or one movement made you think, I can do that, then take a second to like this video and subscribe to Senior Health Boost. That single click helps this community grow, a community where age doesn't limit strength, and every new day is a chance to feel alive again. When you subscribe, you'll get more science-backed tips, gentle routines, and real stories from people just like you, people choosing to stay strong, active, and independent at every stage of life. Because here on Senior Health Boost, we don't just talk about aging, we talk about living. Your journey matters. And I, Dr. Nana, will be here to guide you every step of the way, cheering you on as you stand taller, walk stronger, and embrace life with confidence. Until next time, keep moving, keep smiling, and keep believing in what your body can do. And remember, you're not getting older, you're getting stronger.